Schedule 3 deals with activities neither created as supply of goods nor supply of services. So in Schedule 1 and 2, what we saw, what we discussed, was either goods or services which are supplied without consideration are to be treated as supply. Specifically, supply will be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. Now the third schedule is those where in the list is mention of such activities, which is neither supply of goods nor supply of services. So it is one way of keeping these activities outside of the purview of GST. These are not at all suppliers. So there is no supply. That is why there is no tax also, there is no GST because GST is on supply of goods or services. So there is no supply, no tax. Let us see the list of these activities. Services by employee to employer. The employee is providing services to employers and the consideration for that is a salary. So whether you should be paying GST on the salary? No. Not required, because this service is not treated as a supplier for the purpose of GST. Services by any court or tribunal. It is not treated as supply of service. Functions are performed by MPs, MLS, etc. Member of Parliament. So for that, there are receiving the salaries or payments. These are not taxable under GST. Duties performed by any person who holds any post in pursuance of the provisions of the Constitution. So under constitutional duties, if anybody is receiving any remuneration, that is also not taxable under GST. Duties performed by any person as chairperson or member, or director in a body established by central government or state government or local authority, who is not deemed as an employee. So any government establishment. If a person is working as a chairman or a member of territory, but not as employee is providing user services, not as employed, then also these activities are not treated as supply of goods or services. So no tax on that. Services of funeral, burial, criminal or mortuary, including transportation of the deceased. So in the respect of the ambulances, etc. used for transportation of deceased person for funeral activities, this activity is not treated as a supplier of service. So there is no GST applicable on this. Sale of flat, subject to Clause B of Paragraph 5 of Schedule 2. Sale of building. This is an interesting. There are two parts. Sales of land is first. Now land is a movable property. So, as per definition of goods, land is not goods. But as per definition of services, anything other than goods is service. So, there is a sale of land. It will be treated as a service. So on sale of land, actually tax will be payable. But under the Schedule 3 this is specifically mentioned that sale of land is neither supply of goods, nor supply of service. So sale of land is not at all taxable under GST. Second is subject to Clause B of Paragraph 5 of Schedule 2. Sale of building. It means, subject to this other than this. Remaining sale of buildings are not supply. So what was there in Paragraph 5 Clause B? It was under construction house for which remuneration is received, before the possession or completion. If you remember the discussion, a builder is constructing a complex that is under construction, and he said that flat for that he received advance before even giving the position. So that was taxable as a service. So subject to this other sale of buildings, is not supply of goods or services. So it means simply accept that particular transaction under construction buildings sold for consideration. Accept that transaction. All the sale of building transactions are out of purview of goods and service tax. So, a ready-to-use house or a second-hand house which you are using you're selling, that all sale of building transactions will not be taxable under GST. Actionable claims, other than lottery, betting and gambling. So, only lottery, betting and gambling is taxable. other than these three are not created at supply. It means, if there is a sealer of lottery, if somebody is doing the betting activity, gambling business, then all that activities are covered under GST as a supply of service. But other actionable claims, other than these three, are not treated as supply of service.